Council has set the wheels in motion for a referendum on fluoride in the city's drinking water. While the nature of the ballot question was passed, there were a lot of concerns over the legislation itself.
It will be the job of a new mayor and council to decide the fate of fluoridation of the city's drinking water. The question will be put to a referendum during the next civic election in November. But in a strange twist of events, the results of the referendum will not be binding on the new council.
The authorizing resolution from council was passed in 1954, and then in 1998 the province introduced legislation that grandfathered, in essence, that 1954 resolution. And because of that status, the referendum question under the community charter falls under a section which makes it clear that the referendum is non-binding on council.
That came as a surprise to many around council chambers. Councillor Brian Skaken says when the issue came up in February of 2013, he may have done something other than send the issue to a referendum.
At that meeting in 2013, administration said, we think we can come up with a bylaw, have first 3 readings before the election, have fourth and final reading depending on the outcome of the referendum after the civic election. So even back then we thought it would be binding, but I mean, you look back now and think we wish we could have done things differently.
With the results not binding on the new council moving forward, Skaken feels it could become a campaign hot potato, and that may not be such a bad thing.
Well, you know, it could be, but the thing is, you know, a lot of us on council said we want to put this to rest once and for all because we've had presentations from both sides over the years. Everybody's really turned up the heat on it, and you know, if they do turn it up, good, and if it generates more people coming to the polls, then I think you know, the community and democracy wins. So I mean, I hope both sides get out and you know, try and tell people their side of the story.
The question of fluoride in the drinking water came up in the core review as a cost-saving measure, but council opted to heed the wishes of the electorate. There were some discussions about forcing the question to make the results binding on the new city council of the day.
Based on the provincial legislation, as I said, there's no authority for council to make that question binding. So it's analogous to any other decision of council where there's a question about the authority. It opens the door to a challenge of that decision by council. Administration always wants council's decisions to be soundly supported in legislation and valid.
Regardless of the impact the results will have on the future of fluoride, the question of its fate will be on the ballot this coming November 15th. Cheryl Jan, CKPG News.